Hello, welcome to episode 51 of Just My Opinion. And this one I'm entitling The Top 10 News Stories of 2022. First off, let me say Happy New Year's to everyone listening. Have a happy and prosperous New Year, and I wish you all the best in 2023. The biggest news story in 2022, in my opinion, is Russia invade Ukraine, which is a smaller neighbor to Russia. And on February the 24th, 2022, Russia sent their troops into Ukraine. Sovereign land and territory. The reason why I say this is the biggest news story of 2022, this has the possibility, although it haven't recently, I hope it never gets there, of broadening out and becoming World War III. Ukraine is supported and backed by NATO, and they're being supplied weapons and humanitarian aid by NATO. And Russia doesn't like this, and they really are upset that NATO is supporting and backing Ukraine. And they have threatened a couple NATO countries, such as Finland and Poland. And if they attack any of these countries, then all of the NATO countries have to get involved. Which in fact can trigger World War III. Not to mention, Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, has been talking about using nuclear weapons. And if he used nuclear weapons at all, we'll be looking at the possibility of World War III. So this is a very dangerous situation. The war in Ukraine. I plead for peace, and hopefully this peacefully can be resolved. And everyone goes back to the borders the way it was before Russia invaded Ukraine. Russia has its sovereignty land, and Ukraine has its sovereignty land. This is what I hope for, and this is what I pray that can be solved. This war can be solved peacefully. Story number 2, in my opinion, the second biggest news story of 2022. The Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. On June the 22nd, the Supreme Court decided to overturn the nearly 50-year law that grants women the right to have abortions in the United States. Now, I'm not going to give you my personal feeling, how I feel about it, or what I think about it. This has been an issue that's been debated about, and people have not taken office because of their stance for or against abortion. This has been issues where abortion clinics has been bombed, abortion doctors have been killed. So to me, this is the second biggest news story. A law that came into effect in the year that I was born, 1973. And it has finally been overturned. So this has been a 50-year battle and struggle to get this law overturned. I just hope that the women, that before this law was available to women, will not be forced to go back to dealing with these hack abortion doctors and giving themselves abortions and possibly hurt themselves. Now it's into the state hands. And some states have barred abortions. And some states have made it a part of their state constitution for a woman's right to have an abortion. So to me, this was the second biggest news story of 2022. To me, the third biggest story of 2022, inflation. Inflation has risen to record how much. Everything is high. Everything is becoming unaffordable, unattainable to the poor, or the working poor, or the middle class. To me, this is something that I struggle and deal with every day, and probably as many of you do. You're trying to live and maintain a lifestyle and to provide yourself with just basic necessity and goods when gas costs more, rent costs more, bread costs more, car insurance costs more, soda pop costs more. Just basic living items that you need to live are costing you more. This is a very, very serious problem that we have right now dealing with the inflation. And to me, that was the third most important story of 2022. The rising price of the cost of living and the goods that you need to live and survive and thrive. This is a very, very bad problem. And hopefully we can get a stranglehold on this problem and bring things down to affordable ranges for people. I understand that businesses gotta make their living and they gotta make profit. Make it affordable. You can still live your lifestyle, but make goods, necessities accessible for people need, so they go out and patronize and buy the goods without having to worry about I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul. I'm gonna buy this today, but I can't get that tomorrow. I'm gonna have to short myself on this bill to pay for this and pay for that. So that was story number 3. Story number 4, the midterm elections. This was important because the Republicans, they took back the House in the midterm elections. So now they have House control of the House of Representatives. But this wasn't as bad as expected. The so-called red wave and Republicans going to take many governorships and seats in the Senate and the House, and it just didn't happen. The red wave was a dud. Although they garnered enough support and got enough of the candidates supported, elected and re-elected, that now they have control of the House. The Democrats still have a slight edge in the Senate. And they're not that far behind in the House. Governorships, Democrats did very well. So this red wave that they talked about and predicted and bragged about for months on end never happened. And the midterm elections kind of showed that people are kind of fed up with President Trump's rhetoric. Most of the candidates that he backed and endorsed for election for the Senate and the House and governorships lost. They lost. And they hitched their wagon to President Trump and saying that I was robbed. I won the election. So maybe that's an indicator of things to come. Because in 2024, President Trump is running for election. He's trying to get elected to the White House again. It doesn't look good. You think of all the candidates he endorsed across this country, and very little won. Very little of them won. Story number 5 is about President Trump again. President Trump home in Florida, retreat and compound, Mar-a-Lago, was raided by the FBI. And they seized top secret documents from Mar-a-Lago and West Palm Beach, Florida, on August the 9th, 2022. This doesn't look well or vote well for President Trump. You're being raided by the FBI and the Department of Justice for taking top secret documents. This doesn't look good at all. And you decided I'm going to run again. Doesn't look good, sir. At all. Story number 6. Dealing with President Trump again. Story number 6 is the January 6 hearings. This was a bipartisan hearing to try to investigate and get to the bottom what caused and what happened during the January 6th riots at the Capitol building. This committee had held hearings and interviewed former police officers and police officers that were there, former staff members who were there that day, and try to get down to what was the root and the cause of this incident in American history. This dominated most of the spring and the summertime. And it dominated a lot of CNN and Fox News, CNBC. It dominated that news. And it actually cost Liz Shannon her seat. She was beaten in the primaries by a Trump-backed candidate. And she served on a January 6th committee investigating the riots. Because she chose to put country above party. Because she chose to put country first. The people of her state voted her out. I think that's really bad. And I think Wyoming, y'all dropped the ball on that. Y'all dropped the ball on this one because she was, although she's a Republican, she stood up for what was right and for what was just. And I'm very sorry she lost her seat. Very sorry she lost her seat. Story number 7. Monkeypox outbreaks. Monkeypox outbreak really started to get a foothold in America and spread it as a global health problem. They have since found a vaccination to deal with this health problem. It's affecting people and killing people. At least 6 people before the vaccination helped quell its spread. The virus is mainly spread among gay and bisexual men. The outbreak reaches its peak in early August in the United States. So hopefully, with this vaccination, everybody can be well with that and go on living their lives. And that's one less health problem that people have to deal with and worry about. Story number 8 was hard to come to this. The Texas school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. On May 24th, a gunman stormed into the campus of Robb Elementary School, killing 19 students and 2 teachers. The deadliest shooting in the United States in nearly a decade. This gotta stop, people. A school is made for learning, not for kids to be ducking and dodging bullets. They should always feel safe and free at school. They shouldn't be running and hiding and fearing for their lives, where they should be learning and making everlasting friendships and enjoying their youth. Along with this Texas shooting, I'd be remiss if I don't say the same thing with Buffalo. These people were going shopping. Buffalo, New York. And the idiot comes in there and starts spraying up the supermarket. This type of violence got to stop, people. So I pray and I hope that this in the future won't become a story any more years. People just going out killing and hurting random people. I'm really praying and hoping that. Now this story, number 9. Queen Elizabeth II, the longest reigning monarch in British history, died September the 8th after 70 years on the throne. She was 96 years of age. 70 years this lady was on the throne. 70 years. Think about that. How much the world has changed and evolved in 70 years, and she still was on the throne. I would like to say rest in peace to Queen Elizabeth II. Rest well, and my condolences go out to the royal family and the British people. Now, story number 10. It's kind of hard to which should be number 10. Brittany Griner. We all know the saga, the situation she was in, and how it ended. And I'm happy that she is free. And hopefully she can return to a normal life. In August, Brittany Griner was convicted in a Russian court of charge of trying to attempt to smuggle narcotics into Russia. Ten months before she was released on a prison swap. She is released from Russian custody December the 8th. Thank God that President Biden was able to secure her release. Now she's home. A 9-year sentence in the penal count for 0.5 gram of marijuana oil that was put into a vape. They found it in a vape. Russia, you can get 9 years for a half a gram or less of cannabis oil. I thought her sentence was too much. Did she deserve to be punished? Give her a fine, kick her out of Russia, you can't come back here. Do I think she was trying to smuggle drugs into Russia? No. I believe it was for personal use. If you're trying to smuggle drugs in, you're trying to smuggle in a half a gram, man, of cannabis oil? Come on now. Let's be serious here. So all well ends well for her family. Hopefully she can get on with her regular life. And these are top 10 biggest stories of 2022. Let's have a prosperous, happy, and successful 2023. Happy New Year's, everyone. May God bless.